Three, two, one, start. After completion of the investigation, the investigating officer filed charge sheet against the three accused persons who denied their involvement in the incident and claimed that they had been falsely implicated on account of the subsisting rivalry between the two groups. It was also the defense of the accused that the story, as narrated by PW1, should not be accepted for the reason that the accused number 1 had suffered from polio and having been crippled by the said disease. He was unable to walk about for long without the assistance of an escort. In fact, a certificate issued by one Dr. Sanjay Khare disclosed that the accused appellant number 1 herein is permanently disabled. From the evidence adduced on behalf of the defense, the learned sessions judge found that the appellant number 2 was 59 years old and the third accused was 68 years at the relevant time. The learned sessions judge, upon appraisal of the evidence, found the story of the prosecution to be improbable, basing his decision on the evidence that the appellant number 1 herein had been crippled by polio, and it was physically impossible for him to lift a heavy stone in the manner suggested by the prosecution. The learned session judge also observed that it was improbable for two old people to overpower a young woman and immobilize her so that the appellant number 1 could pick up and throw the heavy stone at the head of the deceased. In the appeal preferred by the state of Andhra Pradesh, the High Court disagreed with the findings of the learned sessions judge and observed that there was no positive evidence on record to show that the appellant number 1 is a crippled man. The High Court went on further to observe that even if the defense story that the appellant number 1 had suffered a polio attack was accepted, such attack was always to the legs and not to the hands, and on such supposition, the High Court came to a finding that the appellant number 1 was strong enough to lift the stone and throw it at the head of the deceased. The High Court also held that the evidence of PW1 inspired confidence and there was no reason to disbelieve the same. On such finding, the High Court held the accused numbers 1, 2, 3 to be responsible for causing the death of the deceased. However, the High Court was of the view that the offence committed by the accused persons, though homicide, did not amount to murder and had possibly been committed with the intention of causing grievous hurt to the deceased. The High Court accordingly held the accused persons to be guilty of an offence punishable under Section 326 IPC, read with Section 34 IPC, and convicted the accused numbers 1 and 2 and sentenced each of them to suffer RI for 7 years and to pay a fine of rupees 1,000. In default, to suffer RI for 1 month more.